we got overloads, we got a tier 87 weapon, and we got a date with Sliske. But first we gotta make some preparations. To start Sliske's endgame, we need to do a whole slew of quests. First, Nomad's Elegy. But to do that, we need to do the Children of Ma, the Mighty Fall, and the Void Stairs Back. But to do the Void Stairs Back, we need to do the quest of Void Dance. And to do that, we need to do Quiet Before the Swarm. Which means finally we have to do Imp Catcher. Yep, I haven't done Imp Catcher yet. Let's get started. I swear to God, if another imp vomits on my shoes, God damn it, you motherfucker! I can't say Quiet Before the Swarm is a particularly engaging quest, but it is the first quest in a series that introduced a pretty good weapon that's no longer a good weapon anymore. You guys remember Karasi's sword back in 2010, 2011? It had a really good special attack that people used in PvP all the time, and if I'm not mistaken, some people in old school RuneScape really want the weapon added to their version of the game. I don't know if it'll be a good addition to the game, since it's probably something PKers just want to be able to rush people with, but I am curious how the old school team would add it into the game if they would actually do their own version of the Pest Queen storyline. It'd be interesting to see. Although I bet if they added it, they'd just make one big quest like Monkey Madness 2 or Dragon Slayer 2 instead of 3 smaller quests. Void Dance suffers from the dreaded middle child syndrome, where it's kind of forgotten and it's not particularly interesting. However, it does give you 50 accommodations you could spend at the Void Knight shop. There is a little part in this quest that I always manage to screw up every single time I do this quest, and I've done this quest more than you'd think. I hate it. I always screw up because I panic, but I eventually get it done anyway. So the Void Stairs Back was released at around the beginning of the era where Jagex started obsessing with giving players choices in quests, even though their choices ultimately mean nothing. In this quest, you have to decide whether to save Karasi or save Jessica. Who are you going to save? It don't matter, because when they show up in a quest later, they just take each other's place. The dead one is the dead one, and you just... whatever. Who cares? In my opinion, if you have one cohesive narrative you're trying to tell, don't let player choice interfere with it. Now, if the game developers are able to write a story where it has multiple branches and there are multiple endings, that's great. But for the most part, a lot of these games' stories have a diamond shape. You start at point A, you make a bunch of different story choices, but you always end up at point B, with different characters there, sometimes. It's boring, it makes your choices feel like they didn't matter, so why'd you even bother giving me the choices in the first place? Put the choices where they actually influence the player's enjoyment of the game. If my choices aren't going to affect the outcome of the story, don't give me a choice. Who gives a damn? I chose to save Jessica, by the way, if it mattered to anyone watching. It didn't matter to me. I just picked... I think I just pressed a button by mistake, and it just picked one. A bit of a quest intermission. I went to Meg, got my reward for helping her, and she gave me a crystal impling, which apparently, if you have a crystal impling in a jar, that counts as having caught one for David, the impling collector in Prifddinas. So now we can go talk to him and get improved rewards from capturing imps. We're gonna go with double loot because... it's kind of like a little bit of gambling, you know, it's like, oh, what are you going to get? Oh, we're going to get double of this mystery thing, as opposed to triple experience, where it's just like, experience, you can get that anywhere. The Mighty Fall. Holy Christ. I am so glad they did not stick with this model of Zanuck for very long. On the one hand, I understand why a cave goblin would be kind of ugly. I mean, it's a cave goblin. But on the other hand, it's Zanuck. She's been with us since... what, 2004, 2005? It's our Zanuck. She's got to be cute. Oh my God. Wow. They modeled her eyes. Oh no, Zarador has Zanuck. Oh, never mind. Oh, wait, yes he does. Wait, no. Yeah, oh, yep, there she is. Okay. Jagex, fix your cutscenes. And as a reward from this quest, we get a tier 70 unaugmentable weapon. How useless. Nomad's at it again. He's in the underworld collecting souls to create an abomination that looks like Guthix. And we gotta stop him. In the RuneScape lore, there are several afterlives, and the god that claims you determines which afterlife you go to, which is why a lot of the Dorgashun goblins are stuck in Ubiusk. Even though they don't worship Bandos, they were pretty much Bandos' property, so he has claim on their souls. Kinda sucks. Even though he's dead, there's still a Bandosian afterlife, and we have to rescue Zanuck from that afterlife because we need her to help defeat Nomad. Fortunately, by the time this quest came out, they decided to change Zanuck's model to something much more cute. Look at her. Uh-oh.
Don't worry, you're not going mad. I am speaking only to you, and no one else can hear me. How, you ask? It's quite simple, really. I am speaking to your soul. The obelisk calls to it. But you are quite safe for now. Your pet god has seen to that. But here we are again. Must we play the role of dastardly villain and selfless hero once more? Is that the lie you tell to yourself? That you're the hero? That you've changed the world for the better?
This is my nomad voice. I never claimed that I was good at this game. I'm just happy there are plenty of checkpoints during this quest so I don't have to fight everything again from the beginning.
No, you damn dog, don't take my stick. You're gonna break it. Look what you did. Bad dog. I may have failed, but at least I still have my free will.
A really good reward from this quest is the Earn Enhancer, which gives you a 25% XP boost when you teleport and earn away, so it's not too bad. It just costs some divine charge. It's definitely worth using if you use Earns, which you should. The Children of Ma reveals a lot of lore about the Majorat, which is very interesting if you like the lore like me, but if you don't, it gives you a lot of XP, so it's worth doing. I remember the last time we were all here. Feels like it was just yesterday. I mean, we're only supposed to gather here once every 500 years. But it seems like something's going wrong. Who would have thought that a culture that's predicated on ritualistic sacrifice would run into issues in the future? Jagex should do this in quests more, where you kind of travel back in time and relive the memories of individuals who were around in that time, because there are so many immortal characters in this game. We could just dive into their memories and just check things out for a bit. Why not? Oh, this part of the game is so engaging and fun. There's nothing more fun than having to do Twitch reactions in a game with a 0.6-second tick system by pressing arrows left and right. Oh, I love it so much. So it turns out the reason why the Majorat sacrifice each other is because Saren lied to them and it was all for the benefit of Ma. Yeah, Saren kinda sucks. But we killed an Elder God, so that's cool. This quest gives 5 experience lamps worth 250,000 experience each. That's 1.25 million experience straight into Herblore. Let's go get it. God damn it, I told everyone that we had to stop Sliske before he runs off and makes a giant maze. Am I just talking to myself here? This quest is the epitome of why accuracy in this game is a real drag. The first time I did this quest on an Ironman, I only had the Sun Spear and I didn't have Overload, so I had to get an accuracy aura to actually do damage without needing a ton of adrenaline, since I was eating the whole time because they were doing a ton of damage to me. It was pretty annoying. This time around though, I have a tier 87 weapon and overloads, which makes this quest much easier because I don't have to worry too much about accuracy. Maybe Jagex wants accuracy requirements for certain bosses in the game to limit people's ability to kill the boss without certain levels of gear, but don't do that for quests. Just remove accuracy, just give them 0 defense. Just let me deal with the mechanics rather than fighting random numbers and dice rolls. It sucks. Fortunately, once you kill Nomad and Grigorovich, it's pretty easy. Linz is easy to kill. And then you get a checkpoint, and you just gotta fight Sliske like 4 times, and then you win. World Guardian powers, activate! Why didn't I use this earlier? So the Staff of Armadil is an Elder God artifact, known as the Conduit, which is able to transfer power from one being to another. And when Zamorak stabbed Zaros with it, and got stabbed himself, he transferred power from Zaros to Zamorak. So maybe my character, knowing this, shouldn't have stabbed Sliske with it and lined it up just perfectly for it to be just driven into his chest. I'm sure Sliske penetrating me and pumping me with his essence isn't going to be ominous in the future and isn't going to have any long-term side effects. I mean, look at that happy face. He can't be planning anything dastardly. But it was all worth it because we got 1.25 million Herblore XP. Getting us to level 94. With all those quests out of the way, I wanted to highlight something very interesting. There is a clan called Iron PVM. Well, actually, there's 2 clans. There's Iron Space PVM, and then there's Iron PVM, all one word. So with the tier 87 weapon, you have a much better chance of getting into a group to kill Beastmaster Durzag. Sometimes the groups will take somebody with a tier 80 weapon, but for the most part, they'll expect a tier 85. If you have a tier 87 weapon and you don't get into the group, it's most likely because you didn't respond fast enough to the invite. If you don't have a tier 87 weapon, you only have a tier 80, you might just get ignored and not brought to the group because your weapon's not a high enough tier. So the reason why we want to kill Beastmaster Durzag is because he can give us some very useful things. First up is Acto Armor, which is tier 90 tank armor, and you might think, oh, that's pretty good because it's tier 90 armor. Well, it's tank armor, it doesn't really matter. However, it disassembles into rumbling components, which is what we'll need in the future when we want to make an Essence of Finality. Secondly, he has a chance to drop ability codices, which are very useful, especially Corruption Blast and Corruption Shot. They're identical abilities, one for magic, one for ranged respectively, that do a pretty good amount of AoE damage. Finally, he drops a currency called Tessie, or Techie, which kind of act like bad luck mitigation, where if you get enough of the currency, you can just buy the rewards that are supposed to drop from Beastmaster in the first place. So you can buy ability codices and get the unlocks without having to rely on RNG. You can get loot from him every 48 hours, so we're going to kill him on and off until we have enough Tessie, or until we get lucky enough, to get the Corruption Shot ability. The great thing about 94 Herblore is that you can use a God Banner to boost to 96 pretty easily, and then you can use the overloads that you're making while boosting to get you closer to 96 so you no longer have to boost. I died during this Beastmaster kill, but it was after I had done some damage to Durzag directly, so that means I can come back and get the loot. We didn't get a Codex though. Sad times. Amlot hour is upon us, and it was time to do some summoning training, and we're basically just making a bunch of granite lobsters because getting granite is pretty easy and Crimson Charms are in high supply. 83 summoning means we could finally use all the Dagonoth hides we've collected to make Spirit Dagonoths, and we can use the Obsidian Charms that we collected while killing the trash before Tizkalzuk. Spirit Dagonoths are great because they only require one Spirit Shard to make, and you can disassemble them for some pretty good components. So I want to get back into training archaeology, but I don't want to do it without the Grace of the Elves necklace. It's a very good necklace, you can put a bunch of porters in it, and it makes training archaeology a breeze. However, to make an alchemical onyx, not only do we need 50 fortunate components, but we also need 107 invention. We can use an extreme invention potion from level 90 to get us to 107 so we can make it that way, but that still means we need 90 invention. The easiest way to get it is to level things up to level 10 and disassemble them, or to level 12 in Siphon. There are some other methods where you only get it to level 9 in Siphon that way, but you end up using up more equipment siphons and components in general just for a slight increase in XP per hour. I don't know if it's really worth it. I'm not going to do it. Oh, hey, cool, we got another pet. Morty. He's an axolotl, he's cute. The hand cannon is a tier 75 ranged weapon, and disassembling it gets us to 84 invention. 83 is great for leveling up weapons, and we get another Sun Spirit at level 10, getting us 85 invention. Once we complete some archaeology mysteries, we'll be able to make ancient gizmos. Much like penguin hunting, you should make sure to do Herby every week. It is easy and free Herblore XP. And it gets us to level 96, which means we no longer have to boost to make overloads. Figured I'd take a break from the invention and do some hunter, and I got the hunter pet. That's Ironman luck for you. I ran out of divine charges while training invention, and I got the divination pet. I'm getting all the pets. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. The only time I killed the Queen Black Dragon was for Reaper assignments, and I managed to get all 4 pieces of the Royal Crossbow in less than 100 kills. That is ridiculous. We have a reroll token, so we can reroll the loot from Beastmaster Durzag, and unfortunately we lose half of our techie. But it's another roll for the ability codex, so I think it's worth it. And the Lantidimes are nice. So I have an augmented Hammertron in my bank that I want to level up so we can disassemble it and get some invention XP, but I want to level it up using corrupted ore, which you get a decent amount of by opening the crystal chest in Privdinis. However, we only have 86 smithing, and we need to get 87 so we can use a god banner to boost to 89 so we can smelt that corrupted ore. That means we have to do Birthright of the Dwarves and get some smithing XP, so we'll get 87 smithing without actually having to mine any ore. The way this troll punts the dwarf is probably my favorite animation I've ever seen in all of RuneScape. Just look at it. They really should have updated Celtigram when they made this quest. This cutscene is just... it is just awful. It is just awful. But we got the smithing XP, so that's all that matters. And now we can use our god banner to boost from 87 to 89 and smelt all of this corrupted ore. We're in no rush. We can do 30 minutes today, 30 minutes tomorrow, 30 minutes the next day. We'll just keep doing it until we have our Hammertron up to level 10, and we can disassemble it for about 450,000 invention XP. Not bad. And I also just want to get this Hammertron out of my bank. Back at it again in ED3 with 98 magic. Oh my god. Are you kidding me? A Dragon Rider, already a Dragon Rider Lance? That's amazing. That has tier 90 accuracy. Sure, it only has tier 80 damage, but it's a halberd. How many Vindictas have we killed? 11. 11 Vindictas. This is the spooniest of spoon-fed videos I've ever made. This is ridiculous. I am so happy we don't have to stay at Vindicta forever to get a Dragon Rider Lance. And with the discovery of the Kinetic Cyclone Blueprint, we get 90 Invention, which means we can boost and make an alchemical onyx. It didn't take very long for me to get 50 fortune components. A lot of the fortune components came from spying on those random double agent penguins that would give you clue scroll caskets. There were Maze Quest Caravan die that would give you fortune components a lot of the time. There were the Sandy Clues from last summer, which gave you a ton of fortune components, which I just kept in my bank until I could disassemble them. And then there were Easy Clues, which give you a pretty decent amount of fortune components per hour. I think it's better than Hard Clues. Of course, you can't get dies from Easy Clues, but I don't care about dies on an Ironman. I don't care if I ever get a die on an Ironman. It's not like you can sell it. With a Spicy Stew boost, we make a Grace of the Elves, which means we can store 500 Porter charges in our necklace, so it makes archaeology very easy. And we have a chance of spawning a Saren Spirit, which gives us a roll on the rare drop table. Without the luck of the dwarves, we won't be able to get a Hazelmere Signet Ring, but we'll get a luck of the dwarves sometime soon. But for now, let's get back to archaeology. Thanks for watching. Take care.